One is the legislative decision, the other is the administrative decisions, and the third is what we call the quasi-judicial decision in land use, the appeals process. Under our system as we have it now, those of you who are going to be on elected boards, with the help of your planning commissions, your community councils if you involve them, you're going to be passing legislative decisions. What those are is you're going to pass laws. Generally, those are the zoning laws, the subdivision ordinances, land use control laws of various natures. When you are acting as legislators and adopting laws and adopting the policy, our courts give you a great deal of discretion. If you follow the right procedure, if you do it right, if you give the right notices, if you're acting within your general, very broad powers, the courts are going to defer to your legislative decisions in those matters. They're going to let you decide what your laws are. So as legislators, council members, that's primarily what you'll see when you're adopting new laws. If you're amending the zoning ordinance, if you're amending the zoning map, if you're amending a general plan, if you're adopting a nuisance law of some sort, courts are going to defer to your legislators. The second big area is when you act to administer these things. Your ordinances are going to have to identify who gives out a permit, who says yes or no to a subdivision, who says yes or no to a conditional use. When you're, say, administering the laws, when you're giving out a permit, you're no longer acting as a legislator. You're acting as an administrator. The courts do not defer to your decisions. The statutes, the way they're written, are that if a person complies with the law, they're entitled to the permit. So if someone comes in and says, I believe I comply 100% with your subdivision ordinances, approve my plat, and in fact they do comply with it, you don't have the discretion to say no, that you think it's a bad idea. You have the obligation to say yes. When you're acting in the capacity as an administrator, handing out permits, you have much less discretion. And in that case, public participation, public clamor, what the crowd thinks at the hearing doesn't count. All that counts is, does the application meet the law? Now, the third area of decision-making in the land use that you may or may not get involved in is that quasi-judicial area, appeals. That happens, somebody in every land use decision you have to provide an in-house appeal authority. If there's a dispute as to what the ordinance means, if there's a dispute as to whether or not they were entitled to permit or not entitled to permit, they're supposed to have a hearing in front of somebody. Used to be boards of adjustment, now it's normally a hearing officer. There are some of you that will write laws that say, for example, our planning commission can grant home occupations, let's say, as a conditional use. But if there's an appeal, it goes to the council. If you want to get in that business, you have to remember that when you act as an appellate body, you're not acting as legislators, you're not acting as administrators there. Then the issue is due process, fair hearing. You have to be willing to be a neutral hearing officer and apply the law.